Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of Her Inspired Mind podcast. Today's topic is it's time to stop being your own worst enemy and become your first love. I'll repeat that again. It's time to stop being your own worst enemy and become your first love. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that it's time to stop doing things that sabotage you, your goals, your dreams, and the things that you truly desire to have in life. So, for example, one of the first things that you can do to show that you are being your first love is by keeping your commitments to yourself. So, for example, if you said that you're going to start eating healthier because you want to lose weight, because you want to improve your health and, just feel better overall, keep that commitment. If you said you're going to start working out tomorrow at a certain time, show up for yourself. Don't make excuses. Don't let anybody else sidetrack you. Like, hey, girl, I need you to come pick me up. I need to go to an appointment, or, whatever the case might be that anybody tries to pull you away. You're like, no, I made a commitment to myself and I'm going to show up for myself. Another way that you can show that you're keeping your commitment to yourself is by keeping those appointments, whether it's for a massage or a facial or that pedicure or, going for that walk that you were going to take, and making sure that you are prioritizing yourself and your well-being. And any other commitment that you make, like if you say you're going to start a business, or you're going to start fixing your credit, or you're going to start reading, whatever those commitments that you made to yourself, keep those commitments. Because if you break the commitments to yourself, what it does is that it doesn't allow you to trust anybody, because you can't even trust yourself for you to show up for yourself. It doesn't allow you to show up 100% authentically in the world. And, your self-esteem is going to be low because, again, you didn't show up for yourself. So how can you trust yourself and be confident in yourself? So keep your commitments to yourself. And the second thing that you can do is to not break your boundaries to please others. This is so important. It could be that you have a boundary that if someone cheats on you, that you're not going to be with a cheater, but you keep sticking around with them because you love them, or they keep promising that they're not going to do it again. That's you breaking your boundary to please someone else. Or it could be that on Sundays, you relax, you don't do anything, you don't go out, but somebody wants you to take them out to the store, or they want you to go out with them. Or maybe you decided that you no longer want to smoke, or that you no longer want to drink, but your friend is like, please, I don't want to go out by myself. Come to the club with me, and they try to start making you feel guilty. Oh, you're not fun anymore. You don't smoke, you don't drink. And then you budge. You can't do that. You have to keep your boundaries. Your boundaries are meant to protect you. Your boundaries are your rules for yourself and your mini world, your little bubble. And you don't need to break those boundaries to please anyone else. I know sometimes you might feel guilty saying no to others, but what about feeling guilty for saying no to yourself? What about feeling guilty for not showing up for yourself and taking care of yourself and protecting yourself? You go hard for everybody else and you show up for everybody else. But what about showing up for you and loving you first and protecting you? And along with that, the third thing that you can do is to stop allowing people in your life that have shown you over and over again who they really are and how they really feel about you. A lot of times people are like, well, they apologize and they told me they're going to change, and, they made me feel good and we had such a great time. But that person keeps showing you that they don't think that you're worth anything. They insult you, they curse you out, they treat you like crap and they push you away once they see that they have you, and you keep allowing them back into your life. You can't keep doing that to yourself, because that means that you don't love yourself. That means that you're prioritizing that person over you, and you can't do that anymore. Because if you don't show up for you, if you don't protect you, who is? You can't expect anybody else to love you and protect you if you're not doing it, because you set the boundary, you set the standard of how other people are going to treat you. And if you don't treat yourself right by allowing people who have shown you over and over again who they really are, they already know, like, she don't even protect herself. She doesn't even, love herself. So why should I love her? Why should I go hard for her if she don't go hard for herself? And I know this might hurt to hear, but I want it to hurt, because unless it hurts, there's not going to be a change. Unless you realize what it really is, there isn't going to be a change. And the time has come that you stop giving people chances over and over again for years to show you who they really are, when they've already shown you with their actions. Forget what they have said. If they're not making intentional efforts to change, and you're seeing changes over time with them, with the way that they treat you, the way they talk to you, and they're just good for a little bit until they soften you up and then you're back in the same place and they keep doing the same things, it's time to let go. Love yourself more than you love them. And it might hurt to let them go, but you have to stop being your own worst enemy. Become your own biggest fan. Become your first love. Love yourself so much that you won't let anybody hurt you anymore, that you're going to protect yourself. And I'm not saying to put up walls, right? I'm not saying to put up walls and not love anybody else. What I'm saying is that when people show you who they are, believe them and stop trying to paint a different picture. And the fourth thing that you can do is to pour into yourself first every day. First thing in the morning, instead of waking up later, serving your kids, serving your husband, your boyfriend, why don't you have a specific time where you're spending time pouring into yourself? You're exercising, you're reading, you're meditating, you're writing in your journal, you're reciting affirmations, you're visualizing the dream future that you have for yourself. And spend that first hour of your day nurturing yourself and pouring into yourself. You can't expect to keep pouring into others from an empty cup, because one day you're going to crash and burn and you really won't be able to show up for anybody else. So prioritize taking care of yourself first every single day. Listen to your body. I believe in going hard and not giving up, right? But I think that we know when we're making excuses versus when we really need to rest and chill. Like, if there's a sink full of dishes and you're like beyond exhausted, let it for the next day. I don't like to do it often. Thankfully, my husband helps me out with that. But I know that everybody doesn't have the support that they need. But stop feeling guilty for putting yourself first. Stop feeling guilty for prioritizing your mental health and your physical health and taking care of yourself. Like I said again, you have to love you first. If you don't love you first, you can't love anybody else. So the fifth thing that you can do then is do more of what you love. Have you put things that you love aside to raise your family, to pursue your work, to sacrifice for someone else in your home? It's time to start going back to the things that you love. Do you love to do arts and crafts? Do you love to sing? Do you love to run? Is there a certain sport you like to play? Do you like to paint? Is there an instrument you like to play? Or is there a language that you've always wanted to learn? It's time to do more of the things that you love. Prioritize it, schedule it, put it in your calendar. Don't only put in your calendar your doctor's appointments, your kids' sports events, when you have to work on your business or you have to work at your job. Schedule in the time for you to do more of the things that fill your cup and that you love and that you're passionate about. Another thing that you can do is to stop speaking negative words about yourself and start speaking life into yourself. So instead of saying, "Oh, I'm so fat, I'm so stupid, I'm so ugly, um, I'm such a hot mess." Stop saying those things and start speaking life into yourself. I am beautiful. I am worthy. I am confident. I'm empowered. I am smart. And just speak those things into you. So I want you to become more self-aware of the words that are coming out of your mouth and into your ears, because we believe what we speak. Our words have power. God spoke us into existence. The word of God even says that there's life and death into the tongue. So are you speaking life into yourself and into your world, or are you speaking death? A lot of times people think that words don't have meaning, but yes, they do. Words have the power to make or break families, entire nations, entire countries. Like, your words have such a huge impact in not only your world, but in this world. So to start with, start speaking things that are going to uplift you, that are going to empower you, and take those words, those negative words that you've been saying to yourself, even if they're in your brain and you don't say them out loud, stop thinking those things. I want you to catch yourself. You start thinking like, "I'm not worth anything," and, "I'll never be anything," and it might not be because you want to, but maybe you grew up in a home where you were told that you would never become anything, that you were ugly, that you were fat, whatever negative words that people said to you, like, "Oh, you're stupid." Stop believing those lies. Take them out of your mind. Start writing and reading those affirmations that speak life into you, that uplift you, that make you feel powerful. And be intentional about it. Don't let your thoughts just ruminate and fester in your mind. You can change your thought patterns, but you have to do it. You have to put in the work. That's what I've done, because I used to feel like I wasn't good enough. I used to feel like I was unworthy. I used to look in the mirror and be like, "Oh my God, I'm so fat, I'm so ugly." But once I began to change those words and those thought patterns, it began to improve my confidence and my self-love. I began to value myself more. And that's how now I'm able to pour into you. So it's not impossible to change those thought patterns if you're intentional. So I want you to think about these things. Listen to this episode again if you need to, as many times, because you really do need to stop being your own worst enemy and become your first love. Thank you so much for listening in. Please leave me a star rating and review. Share this on your Instagram stories, share it on your Facebook, tag people, send it to somebody who needs to hear this. And I appreciate you for listening in, and I'll talk to you guys soon. God bless.